And can we discuss really fast that Diana is not the reason why Zeke is dead? Okay.
We want to clear that up.
I just want to clear that up.
Now, if you've been up to speed with Power Book 2, then you know that it didn't turn out well for Zeke at all. I mean, based on what was shown, he was shot pretty badly, but here's why I believe that what we saw isn't necessarily what we saw, if you get what I mean. And this has to do with Coney Kemp's departure from the show and the new showrunner that's now taking charge of the show at the moment. Now, what many of you do not know is that Brett Mahoney was actually the showrunner of this really, really twisted show, The Following. In the show, The Following, a lot of characters ended up faking their death, and not just any character, I'm talking the main characters in the show ended up faking their deaths. And now that he was taking over as the showrunner, all I have to say is that I'm 100% sure that it wasn't Coney Kemp's decision for this to happen to Zeke. It was actually Brett Mahoney's decision, because he did a lot of these type of scenarios in the show The Following with the main characters. So what I'm basically trying to break down and highlight is the fact that there's a good chance, there's a huge possibility that Zeke is actually still alive. We know that in the final episodes, the police really had a huge presence around Zeke for a reason. This was not done by accident. They wanted the detective's presence to be around Zeke for a reason. He could have easily just, been figuring out things on his own about Mecca and what Monet was going to do, and sort of show up on his own and show up in the end of the episode just like they showed it. But there's a reason why the news report never covered everything that actually happened. I mean, just take a look at it. Something like that would make the news immediately. They had to wait until the next morning to show that, quote unquote reveal that Zeke is supposedly dead. Now, I just want to make it clear, I do not believe that Zeke is dead. I believe that he had a plan with the detectives about what was going to happen on that day. I feel like the detective personally reached out to him right after that conversation that they had. Because if you remember that scene, he looked curious as to why Zeke was so worried. And Brett Mahoney is the type of person to do these things behind the scenes without necessarily revealing it in the episode. Just like in The Following, this is the perfect scenario. What happened to Zeke actually happened to one of the characters in The Following. Her name was Claire Matthews. She was stabbed inside of the main character's apartment. And later on the episode, it was revealed that she actually died. And as for those wondering how exactly the feds can pull off this type of scenario, well, Brett Mahoney pretty much, he has dealt with these type of scenarios before, and he has created them. He has written these scenarios before, and this is the perfect example of how they could actually, pull it off. So here's a scene where Claire Matthews gets attacked, just like Zeke got attacked. Take a look.
Wait! No! 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 No!
Later in the episode, it's revealed to the main character, just like Monet, that Claire Matthews is dead.
Mike. That's clear.
And the main character would actually go into some deep depression about it, about what happened to Claire. But then later down the season, what actually happened was revealed.
We need to protect you and Joey.
You want me to go into hiding?
Witness protection. We'll relocate you, Joey, and your mother. We'll give you new identities.
I just gave up my life? Mike.
It's the best way to protect you and Joe.
No, I have to tell Ryan.
Claire.
You're asking me to give up my life.
Ryan would want you and Joe to be safe.
I have to tell him.
You can't.
I have to. I can't do this to him. Mike, I can't.
It's Claire.
Again, this is the same exact thing that I believe happened with Zeke's situation. The news about him being dead could have easily been communicated to Monet during the night when everything was breaking out in the news. And I feel like this is a clear sign that Brett Mahoney is up to something. He is planning something for Zeke's character. He's the type of showrunner that doesn't like predictable scenarios. And I'm really expecting a different type of writing style now that he's going to be the showrunner of the show. I feel like it's going to focus on so many more twists and turns. If you guys are interested in seeing some of his previous work, the best show to watch is The Following. And Claire Matthews, this character that I was talking about who faked her death, she wasn't the only main character who faked her death on that show. I mean, come on guys, this is what Brett Mahoney likes to write. And the fact that they never really had an up-close shot of Zeke actually dying and taking his last breath, and they had Lorenzo at a distance firing out shots at him. I mean, that's a clear sign. Zeke could have easily been wearing a vest in that scene. And just notice how close and easily he got to the private plane. Whereas Lorenzo, he was not even, close enough to the plane. Someone had to let him in there. And if you look closely, you can actually see someone that's like an agent running up to the airplane. Some people could say it's Mecca's workers, but if Mecca's workers were around, Lorenzo wouldn't have gotten that close to that area. Think about it. Pay some thought to it. Based on what LaToya, the actress who portrays Diana, had to say about Zeke, just further adds to the idea that there's something deeper that happened with the character of Zeke.
And can we discuss really fast that Diana is not the reason why Zeke is dead? Okay.
We want to clear that up.
I just want to clear that up.
She's clearly defending the fact that she's not responsible for anything, that her character is not responsible for anything that happened. When in fact, if you look at the finale, she played a huge role when it comes to what happened on that night, with revealing the information that she wasn't supposed to reveal. If it wasn't for her revealing this information, Lorenzo perhaps may have not shown up. Even if he didn't, there's still a huge consequence that Zeke could have come across with in that specific area. Literally anything could have happened. And I'm sure a character like him, not really knowing who Mecca is, would have, this much trust to, go see him on his own. When you study that scene, he is hooded for a very specific reason. Like he doesn't want to be seen by most of the people who he could come across with there. And just ask yourself, how did he come there to that specific area so close to the private plane so easily without a higher power being involved and making sure that he was safe enough to, go to get that far? Think about it. LaToya is clearly hinting at the fact that there's something else that we do not know about. And again, with Coney Kemp's departure from the show is going to be different. I'm pretty sure that it wasn't her plan for this to have happened to Zeke. This was clearly Brett Mahoney's doing. So for those of you who are saying that there's no way that they can pull it off, or that it's impossible for them to, pull something off like this, there's clearly a way, and this is the only way that they could do it, trust me. Now, this is some very interesting stuff, right? But many of you may be asking where exactly Zeke is right now. The character Claire Matthews, who faked her death, was placed in witness protection. She was taken out of the state and placed in witness protection. This is where I believe Zeke will be for the remainder of the next season. He will be in a place like this, just like this, because I do believe that now with Brett Mahoney being involved, that he did in fact fake his death. Now, as far as what will motivate Zeke to do something like this, I mean, he literally saw someone he was dating hanging from the ceiling, And he knew that it was Monet who was behind all of this. And here comes this stranger who was, dating Monet all of a sudden and wants to take him away from the area that he used to being in. I feel like anybody would be, worried for themselves in that situation, and they would go out of their way to protect themselves by any means necessary. And that's what I feel the producers wanted to let us know when he was going to the police. They wanted the presence of the police to be there for a reason. This is obviously a clear sign that Zeke was involved and was behind all of this. He knew that anything could pop up at any second, and he wasn't going to go in there without any, protection. And if the feds actually wanted to have the perfect opportunity to get something on Monet, this would be the chance for Zeke to actually communicate to them about something that he felt was wrong. I mean, there's this random guy, Mecca, who popped out of nowhere, and now he all of a sudden wants to move him out of the state. That's something that Zeke would want to communicate to the police about. Think about it. There's a reason that they had Lorenzo shoot him at a distance. There's a reason they never showed him up front dying. And there's a reason that on that same night, the news never really broke out on the TV. Also, one very, very suspicious thing is how they managed to reach out to Monet's private number. How do they even know this number? Monet is a private person. She's not any other regular person from the streets who would have her phone number laying around anywhere. I mean, they had to know that information from someone who was in the house, someone like Zeke. One of the biggest advantages that characters like Zeke have is the fact that, we doubt his smart side, basically. We don't, really see how he can outsmart people just based on some of the past experiences that he's had. Many people have called him slow and not aware of, the problems that he's creating. But Brett Mahoney's the type of showrunner who would, use this to his advantage and surprise the fans with an unpredictable twist. I mean, if they really want to shock the audience in the next season, and Brett Mahoney wants to do the same thing that he did back in the following, back when he was running the following, and wants to create so many different twists and turns for the television show, this is the only way to do it. The only way that I would have said that Zeke is dead at this point is if they show an open casket. If they do not show, Zeke actually in an open casket, that's an obvious red flag right there. I mean, that's obvious that, there's some foul play going on right there with everything that happened. And it's a clear sign that he faked his death, just like Brett Mahoney wrote Claire Matthews' character in the following. Is that same exact scenario, just from the way that they handled the whole situation, not showing Zeke dying up close. We don't really know what happened after that moment, and if there were feds around the area, surrounding the area. They had Zeke show up to the feds for a reason. Think about it. Do you guys honestly believe that someone who was on the verge of joining the NBA would all of a sudden want to disappear and leave all of that behind and start a fresh life, a fresh start somewhere else with a complete stranger? We saw how easily he was cracked by the police when the season was starting. And that right there, I believe, should be taken as a clue within itself. I believe that right after he had that conversation with Mecca and Monet, I'm 100% certain that he went straight back to the station. And just like they tried to use him when the season was starting, I'm pretty sure that he has it in his head that Monet is going down the wrong path. And he probably felt like the only way that he was going to be able to help her out, to help her get out of this mess, was to come up with a plan with the police. He told Monet to her face that she never told him anything.
Shit! You always talk about having my best interest at heart, but you don't tell me shit to protect myself. This is my life.
And I'm pretty sure that Zeke, knowing that she doesn't tell him anything, would not take it upon himself to completely disappear with some stranger that he just met. Think about it, guys. I mean, none of these things that we saw in season 2 were done by accident. Everything that you see on Power happens for a reason. And I'm 100% certain that there's something deeper when it comes to Zeke's situation. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about this. Do you guys really, really believe that Zeke is dead? Someone like Lauren, I would 100% confirm that is dead, because, they have the whole body. They described the scene of the crime and how it was shown, and how she crashed into someone. And there's no reason for, them to have, handled Lauren's character in such a way where she fakes her death. This, however, with having Zeke show up to the police and then all of a sudden having this happen to him right out of the blue, and then having the feds magically figure out how to communicate and contact Monet is very suspicious. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about this. Leave your theories down below, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.